Hey y'all, hey. As I was sitting here thinking about a fulfilled word, I just got off the phone with my mom, right? And the word came to me so clearly, in her voice no less. You can't fix what you won't face. And I sit here and I'm thinking about that, and it is a very real word, that if you are, let's say, in a place of denial, constant denial, then whatever that thing that you are in denial about will never get fixed. Now, how I got into that thought, I was really thinking about how would one change their circumstances? How do you change your outside, like your outside circumstances? It comes from changing your inside. And to elaborate on that further, changing your inside means taking a good hard look at yourself and the things about you that keep you stuck, the things about you that keep you in procrastination, that keep you in delay, that keep you in not the place where you really want to be. You got to take a look at yourself. You got to dig deep and really look at yourself. Look at the bad, look at the ugly, look at the stuff about you that you've been running from, the stuff that you really don't want to see. All of that stuff is there and it ain't going nowhere. Just because you turn a blind eye to it don't mean it's going anyplace. It's still going to be right there staring you in your face. And what people don't realize is, if you don't pay attention to it, if you don't acknowledge it, if you don't put forth effort, action, and so forth to change it, it's going to keep showing up. It's going to keep influencing and it influences you, which in turn impedes your progress. That's good too, Lord. Thank you. But you got to have an honest look at yourself. That's where it begins. Having a real honest look at yourself and acknowledging the stuff about you that you don't really want to acknowledge. And what I mean by that, it's the stuff that does not go over very well in society. Being too controlling, being selfish. Those are just two things that just come to mind right away. But what about, wait a minute, hold on. Okay, I had to take a moment just to get my thoughts together. But some of those things, the things that you don't like about yourself, and as I was sitting here and just kind of mulling it over, like, what would be some of those things that people can identify with? I have to look at myself, right? I'm always going to be the example that I go to, because I ain't here to talk about nobody. I'm here to share my own experiences and the things that I've learned. So some of the things that I listed were arrogance, ego, stubbornness is my thing, okay? I can be a little stubborn sometimes. Whatever. Not being able to take correction. My daughter called me on that this morning, so that's a thing. Or thinking that you're always right. Now, people be trying to say that Tauruses think that they always right. I ain't always right. I know I ain't. I am okay with standing in the place of correction now. Yeah, it might have been a little difficult for me before, but I'm good with it now. After a minute. Okay, sidebar. My old boss, right before I left that boss world, used to say to me, they're like, you need to hear things 3 times before you actually buy into it. Yeah, it's true. It's true. I need to think about it. I really do. Okay, but I digress, because I done went off on a whole nother space. I'll be back for that talk. Anyway, but you move into acceptance. So after you have gone through acknowledging, you've pointed it out, and you can see it within yourself. Now you go into acceptance. Just because you see it in yourself don't mean that you really accept it. Accepting it about yourself is like, yeah, now you're conscious of it, because it can no longer get away from you. You can't stay denying it no more. Acceptance is, yeah, I see this about me, and I see it about me in active real-time play. But that helps you, acknowledging it and seeing it, helps you with getting to the next place of action. I always say that once you're conscious of a thing, it helps with mindfulness, helps you to be mindful, so that The mindfulness helps you in the moment so that you can do something different. You can change, you can pivot, you can go in a different direction. You can choose a different behavior, a different response, a different reaction, whatever. That's where, excuse me, y'all. Excuse me. But that's where the change comes into play. Once you are, it's in a place of your awareness, you can no longer deny it. And so if you want things to change and you want things to be better, now you got to take action. My mom always used to say that you can't fix what you won't face. And it's very true. Like, if you stay in a place of denial, even jokingly, if you stay in a place of denial, you can convince yourself that that thing that you're denying, or whatever the truth is that you are in denial of, you can actually convince yourself that it ain't real, that it ain't true. But that's not going to change. It's not going to change your outside. It's not until you really start looking at yourself with a fine-tuned comb and combing through the way you do things, and combing through your own actions and the motivations behind your actions. It's not going to be until you really start examining yourself that you'll start to see changes on the outside. Not just through examination. Let me rephrase. It's not just through examination. It is through examination, acceptance, and action that the change starts to happen. In my one-on-one, in my privates, I always say that when you come to this space with me, you are there for change. And when you begin to change, when things begin to change on the inside, your perception, how you go about things, how you're seeing yourself, that change is going to radiate. It's a ripple. It's going to ripple outwardly, and it's going to start affecting your environment also. So if you want to see your outside change, you got to start making some changes on the inside of you. Because you are the center of your own universe. You are the center of your own environment. And if you want the environment around you, wherever you are, if you want that environment to change, then you got to start right where you are, in the seat that you sit in. You got to start right there in order for that change to happen outwardly. Now, this is the thing. If you really want change, hold on. Buckle your seatbelt. Because as soon as you begin to employ the change inside, the actions, as soon as you begin to employ the actions, the behaviors, and doing things differently, your outside is absolutely going to change as well. And some of that change might be unpleasant. Because that change will come about. The change, you'll notice that some of the changes about you and how you relate to the world, and relate to your environment, and relate to your circumstances, and relate to you in your relationships, you have to change yourself, and it radiates outwardly. And some of that change is going to be difficult. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna sit here in front with you. Some of that change might be hard to accept. The way the relationships change might be hard to accept. It might take some getting used to. It will take some getting used to, on both sides, your side and the other partner's side. The other side of the equation, I'll put it like that, because the other side of the equation it doesn't necessarily have to be a person. It doesn't have to be, but it could be your home environment. When I'm thinking about all right, like take this for an example. Let's say you are a messy person, and you acknowledge how messy you are. But you want to do something about it. And so you begin to employ change to be less messy. What changes? Your environment. Your environment is going to change because you're in the middle of it. It's going to change. I hope that makes sense for somebody. I hope that makes some sense. I'm going to come back because I feel like a part of this talking about the change there's so many aspects to change, but I'm gonna stop right here and I'm gonna leave it right there. But expect another video about changing the inside in order for the outside to change. All right, y'all, I love you today and tomorrow. I don't know about the next day. Check back with me. Again, we all working on change, right? But nah, I'm gonna love you tomorrow. I'm gonna love you tomorrow too. All right. Y'all be blessed, and I'll see you soon.